Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my first video, so it's only right that I'm using this time to actually create something for my YouTube channel. I decided to try to make an end card or like a stream waiting kind of thing. I decided that because I was probably going to use it for streams down the line that, it kind of made sense for it to be like a cuckoo clock and animate it and have it moving. I decided to, like I said, test out a couple different things. So this is my top-down setup using my iPhone and an old boom stand. Got a little camera mount for my iPhone and mounted it right to this boom stand. It worked out pretty darn well. What you're seeing me do is play around with a couple different color pencils. I like being loose like that and just not having to worry about erasing anything. Just use a light color to get the sketch out. Use a darker color to get kind of like roughly where your lines are. So that way, when you take it and you start inking, like I am in Photoshop here, it's easy to just, get to that point faster. I thoroughly enjoy inking things, and it just makes sense to kind of skip all the I don't know, a lot of the planning stage. So while I was inking things in Photoshop, I was reminded how much I love drawing in Photoshop. It's been a long time since I've actually just taken the time to create something in Photoshop. I've been using it just for a lot of manipulating and rescaling things and like boldening lines and stuff for tattoos. And it was nice to just get in there and mess around with some of the new things that Adobe CC has to offer, like Kyle's brushes being free now is a glorious thing. This one, I believe it's just one of his hard edge inkers, but it's I think it was like the badass inker. Anyway, it was wonderful. It was super fun to play with. I went through and just got a lot of these like tidied up lines. It was around this time right here when I was working on the clock that I was really adamant on trying to do some animation for this. So I kind of landed on the idea of, well, I'm not going to be finishing it in Photoshop, so I might as well just work on getting my flatting in here and actually organizing some layers, which is something that I just don't do enough. I really should start labeling things and getting back into it. The iPad has taught me some bad habits. So I went through and I just went back in and just flatted, got where all the basic ideas of things were, where colors were going to be. Kind of got a chance to play around with what colors I was going to be playing with, and once I got to Procreate and before animating. Yeah, I just messed around with that for a while. This whole time lapse is actually 2,000 times the speed of what I was doing, which is kind of super entertaining to watch. I just, it's weird to watch yourself do art in general, but it's even weirder when it's that much faster. This is now in Procreate, where I was using their own like recording tool. This is where I discovered some problems that I'm gonna have to try to figure out how to fix in the future here. It looks cool when you're drawing and creating things, but once I got to the animating stage of things right here, it gets really funky. Like I'm animating the clock and I'm just tediously moving one thing. Procreate is wonderful, but it needs to have an anchor in this transform tool. That would have made my life so much easier here. So I went through and tediously animated all of the arms of the clock, getting to where they're supposed to be. Then went down into the much easier task of just moving the eyeballs back and forth, which ended up being really convenient because it also was the same timing that I needed for the tongue. So if you actually watch this little circle at the bottom here will start moving once I start animating where the tongue's going to go, this pendulum swing, and the eyes actually follow it, which is, I find, kind of neat. I didn't expect that when I was working on it. It just kind of happened. But yeah, it got to the point where I was just sketching around. See, so here, when you're actually drawing something, it's a little bit more interesting and less just flashing everywhere. I mean, there's a lot of just flashing everywhere, but this gave me the chance to kind of work through. I made a little bit of a mistake here after I got all of the tongue placements and lined it all out. I decided I was going to try to do the same kind of shading that I did up top with some kind of gradient change, and immediately realized that was a bad idea. There's a reason why they don't animate that way. Oh yeah, right here. It just flashes like crazy. So then I went through and cell shaded it all out, which works way better, looks a lot nicer. It's a lot more fun in the long run. So that was basically, what I did to animate. If you'd like to see me actually do like an animation tutorial with Procreate, I would love to do that at some point. But I made this whole thing out, so hopefully it will work as my end card. And at this point, you'll be seeing that, so hopefully it worked out great. Thank you for watching my video, and have yourself a lovely day.